is, this might even be a little controversial, but it was, why is Stephen Curry so undervalued? What do you think about Stephen Curry's value in the hobby?
Well, I let the Warriors slip out of my mouth a little earlier, even when I wasn't talking about them. So I'm always down to talk about Steph. One of my favorite players, super valuable though. And I would actually disagree. I think from a value standpoint, you pull up his career numbers and then compare it to someone like Durant or Harden or these other guys, and you'd actually be kind of surprised. He hasn't done it for as long because he started out kind of rocky. Then he had last year taken off. Um, so his career numbers aren't insane, but in terms of impact, like he changed the game. All these young kids came up watching Steph Curry, patterning their game around Steph Curry. So I think from a culture perspective, maybe he is a little undervalued because he really was, aside from LeBron, probably the second most impactful player for our generation. So, but here's what I've always said is like you have to compare his prices to other guys in his range. So like I think Durant will probably go down as a better all-time player, and until recently was like one third the price or half the price, which is totally absurd. Especially let's just say even. Let's say they're both, knocking on the top 15, top 10 range. The fact that Steph is twice as expensive is doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's changed in the last like 2 months. Durant has caught up, but Steph was never really undervalued in my eyes. I think all the legends, I think LeBron, Steph, Durant, Kawhi, they're super solid investments. Um, they will go up, in my opinion, but to say undervalued isn't totally doing it justice. Maybe Chris Paul or some other player that's a little less expensive is fair to talk about. But when Steph has national treasure cards ending for 400,000, 600,000, 200,000, and his rookie refractors are, in the 50K and up range, it's totally not an undervalue in my eyes. But I'm glad to hear the question. I'm glad to hear there's another Steph fan out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what I'll say is, I'd kind of maybe disagree too. I'm not sure he's undervalued. I was shocked because I was looking. I was like, I think the market might have cooled off on Steph a little bit. I'll look to pick up. Like this was a while ago, even during the summer, and I looked up his tops, and I was like, wait a minute, this is what I just paid for LeBron. You know what I mean? So that was crazy to me. His prices. The one thing I will push back on a little bit though is, you mentioned Kevin Durant. Definitely James Harden, I would push back strongly against. I think their statistics, sure, you could make that argument. Comparable, maybe. I would have to really dive deep personally to know. But I think in terms of the narrative of their career and how they'll be remembered, I think Steph is certainly in a league of his own compared to Harden, but I think even KD, because I'm trying to like figure out a new kind of card catchphrase, but I think we have a lot of card martyrs out there, or sports martyrs, who are like, "Oh, I'm dying on my Oscar Robertson Hill. He's so undervalued and all this stuff." It's like that's just, or Draymond Green should be worth so much more because of how valuable he was to the team. It's like that's not how it works though. So if we're talking from a purely investment perspective, I think there's even benefits to Steph and like a fandom that Steph has, especially overseas. Like we talk about Asia, there's a ton of money over there that I don't think LeBron is going to have. So that might be kind of a bold statement, but in terms of how they're going to be remembered, and at the end of the day, I mean, yes, there's investors, and I guess I'm going a little far there, but it's fans buying cards, right? Steph Curry has fans like no one else.
And will always have fans. He's got like that Kobe appeal. Like I think
Yep.
Kobe kind of everyone thinks wow, he must be like the second or third best player ever. But the traditional people will say, well, no, he's top 10, but he's probably closer to 10 than he is to one. Um, but like you said, like there's people in China and people in the US that grew up watching Kobe, and he's larger than life. And unfortunately he passed away. It's tragic, but legends like Kobe and then legends like Steph never die. And yeah, to your point, maybe someone like Harden, especially with his meltdowns, isn't on that level. But the question was talking about undervalued. So we could talk about the career later, but I think Steph is still a solid investment. I think when he retires, he's going to go up overnight. And especially when people watch, the Steph Curry documentary comes out, it's like if you look at what happened to Jordan prices in the last 5 years, has he played a game? No, but like the whole market has gone up. So, assuming he gets the same bump as these other all-time greats have, I think Steph is a sound investment. I just wouldn't say he's widely undervalued.